Hello, welcome to this live stream. And if you are here for your first time, I'm Musioma Augustine. And if you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you so much for returning back to view this live stream. So as I have said, my name is Musioma Augustine, and today I have a topic which has been debated a lot, and this topic is about those individuals who argue now and again about whether they should buy a house or they should rent. So that's the topic which I'm going to discuss a few minutes from now. But I hope your day is so fine, and more especially those individuals who are from the Republic of Kenya. That's where I am from. Happy Mashujaa Day. Happy Mashujaa Day. So this day we need to give a brief history of the day. You know, this day used to be called Kenyatta Day, but under the 2010 Constitution, the day was changed to Mashujaa Day as a sign of including all individuals who fought for our independence. So to those heroes who fought for our independence, you are much appreciated, and your blood is not taken for granted. You know, even though we have not done 100% of what you dreamt of or what you had a vision how Kenya should be. There's a lot which has not been accomplished, but there is also a lot which has also been achieved in terms of freedom of speech, in terms of just working hard so that you can design your own future. So those are among the fruits which were attained through independence. So for those individuals who died, may your souls rest in peace. At the same time, those who also, because there are more individuals who fought for this independence, but they're struggling in bad conditions. Also, I hope, though I have the minimum hope, that your dreams will be realized and justice will be done. So let me go directly to, so it's today, Mashujaa Day is celebrated on 20th October each year. So for Kenyans, happy Mashujaa Day. And let me go direct to the topic which I was to discuss, that is, should you buy a house? That's the topic actually I'm going to discuss today. Should you buy a house or should you rent? So maybe if you are going to, you can also join this live stream. I hope I can share my link. So this live stream, I'm going to begin immediately, and the main agenda or the main topic which I'm going to discuss today is, should you buy a house or should you rent? Which should you consider first? Which should you consider first? Should you buy a house or should you rent? So, and the reason, first I need to give a reason why individuals consider buying a house to be a priority, to be number one priority. For instance, from Africa, a house is something which is considered so precious. You having a house is a great achievement. So it's a great achievement for you as an individual if you have a house. And also for other Western countries like the US, you having a house was also a sign of security. In those the late industrial, when we were in industrial period, a house was something which you were assured of as a security, because you could acquire a loan and just buy a house as a sign of your security. When you retire, you are given some money, and this money you are going to use it for while you are at home, so there is no other struggles. But from what we have learned from recent history, from what we have learned from our recent history, nowadays, in terms of savings, you can save and the rate of inflation may catch up with you. At the same time, you may buy a house thinking that you are going to sell that house at a profit, and in rare cases you may end up not selling that house at a profit. Market crashes happen. That happened in 2008, and there was a disaster. There was an economic collapse. Even though in 2008, more especially those individuals from Kenya, we had an issue with political post-election violence, and I was young at that age, so I'm taking this from history. So I learned that during the 2008, there was an issue of but there was an issue of recession. So there was, most individuals were devastated. They got out of business. There's like, I believe it's a bank like Lehman Brothers, such term. I'm not sure of the term, but Lehman Brothers, that company collapsed. So their people went bankrupt and they are devastated up to the moment. So that's how, if you depend on some investments such as stocks, your house, you may end up being disappointed. So now let me dive into directly why a house should be bought. And this I'm going to give from my personal perspective. Why should you buy a house? So as I said earlier, if you are an individual who is thinking maybe you've done good investments and there's revenue which you are earning from these investments, and some of it is excess, it's undisposable, then you should consider now buying a house. You should move into your rural area and construct a nice house for yourself and maybe your parents. Not maybe your parents, we have that responsibility of taking care of our parents. So you should construct a decent house for your parents. You should also construct a decent house for yourself as an individual. So that's why I say, if you have made good investments and these investments are generating revenue, and this revenue, all of this profit, you are unable to dispose, then you should consider now constructing a house. That should be your priority. And another individual who should construct a house is that individual who is considering to live at a certain place over a long period of time. If you are that individual who is considering to move, who is considering to live at a certain place for a longer period of time, then you should consider buying a house or buying a land somewhere and then constructing a house. If you are that individual who wants to go and live at a given place for a longer period of time, you should consider buying that house in that place, such that maybe you should now save on rent. So those individuals who are thinking maybe they need to live at a place for a longer period of time, let's say even more than 15 years, then you should give a house a priority. You should consider residing in that place for a longer period of time. If you are considering of residing in that place for a longer period of time, then now you should consider buying a house at that place because you may save on rent. I'm not sure if you may end up saving on rent, but you may save. So that's why I've said that if you are considering living at a place for a longer period of time, that's more than 15 years. That's what I prefer. More than 15 years, then it can be a good choice for you to buy a home at that place of residence or at that place where you are located at the moment. Also, some individuals who I think should buy a house are those individuals who are exiting the market, the labor market. If you are that individual who is almost approaching your retirement, then constructing or buying a house, I believe, should be your priority. If you are that individual who is considering or who is nearing the age of retirement, then it could be a nice thing for you to actually buy a home because where are you going to move to? If you never constructed a house, where are you likely going to reside? Where are you going to enjoy your retirement benefits? Even though those retirement benefits are limited, they are competing against inflation, they are taxed. So those are some of the challenges which those of us who are thinking of going and getting employed, I'm saying employment is not a bad thing, but if you are seriously considering of going and getting employed, then you should get out of that trap of thinking that your retirement benefits, that's the revenue which you're going to be given by the government, is going to sustain you. I want to give some mathematical kind of prediction of what retirement benefits from my own perspective, what I thought of retirement benefits. So I was thinking, imagine you have been living, I don't know how much savings are being deducted to go to your retirement scheme, but let's say you have been surviving on you have been surviving on 70 what? Let's say you have been surviving on 75%, and now you are going for your retirement and you expect to, let's say for 30 years, not actually that, let's say you are employed at the age of 25 up to 60. So you have been surviving on 75% of your salary, gross income. Now you are living from the age of 60. Let's say you are going to live up to 90. So you will be surviving on 25%. And your old age is when I believe there is a lot of problems in terms of your health conditions. There are a lot of problems which are associated with your health problems, and if you have health issues, then you will be disadvantaged. So some of that money will go to medical, and some of that money is required to sustain you in terms of food. Some of that money is which will sustain you in terms of clothing. So if you are not wise enough to invest at your youth, then during your retirement, if you are going to survive on the retirement or your savings, then I believe it would be a huge challenge, and you may end up getting disadvantaged. So that's why I always say that for those individuals who think that they can survive on your savings during your retirement, then think twice. So so Let's move on to, I've said, those individuals who are considering exiting the labor market, they should consider constructing a house. Now, let me go to why I'm against those individuals who are thinking of constructing a house or of giving a house a priority. So I believe I'm kind of a way going to support this idea of not constructing a house or not giving a house your number one priority. And I need to give you a brief instance. So this is a billionaire, so I can't. It may not be a good example of comparison, but I was watching the documentary of the great Elon Musk, and this documentary was just saying that Elon Musk actually said that him as an individual, he doesn't own a home. So he is a billionaire, the richest man on the planet, owns no home. He has no home. He owns no house. Though this is a billionaire, so it's not a good comparison. So, but I may end up asking some rhetorical question. So why you, a broke individual, a broke graduate, why should you give a house a priority? Is there a need why you need to give a house a priority? Maybe there's a need, but we have a lot of questions which need to be answered. So, number one, why I'm against you as an individual of giving construction of a house a priority. Number one, if you are going to, you are that young individual who is going to move from one place to another, then there's no reason why you are going to construct a house. There's no reason why you are going to buy a home. If you are an individual who is so mobile, you move from one place to another. And for instance, nowadays we have Airbnb. I hope I've pronounced that word so efficiently. So I have one viewer here. I appreciate you for showing up. And also there were some viewers who have just disappeared, but your your attendance is not taken for granted. I just appreciate. So if you are an individual who your idea is that you want your life to be nomadic, then you have no good reason of you constructing a house or buying a house. You should not even give a house a priority. And for those individuals who want to live nomadic lifestyle, then there's no need for you to construct a house. For instance, you want to reside today in Kenya, and a few years from now, you may consider moving to which African country is my best. I believe South Africa. I like South Africa. So if you are considering to move in a few years from now, you are considering to move to South Africa. Then from South Africa, you may end up going to Nigeria. And from Nigeria, you may consider moving to the US. From the US, you may consider moving to maybe Britain. And from Britain, Russia. So I hope there are some individuals who with Russia, but that's it. That's your own opinion, as I am entitled also to my own opinion. So if you are considering to live a nomadic life, then there's no, even within the country, say I'm from Kenya, if you are considering of living within Kisii County for some 2 years, and from that, your job may not allow you to continue residing in Kisii County, you may move to Nairobi County, and from Nairobi County to Isiolo County, and then from Isiolo County, you may even move to Mombasa County, then to Kakamega County. And then if your lifestyle is as such, then you should not consider buying a house or buying a home. Renting should be your best option, I believe. So you should you should consider renting. And another second reason why I consider buying a house not to be something which is so sophisticated is the whole issue of you should use that money to make good investments. Let's say you consider buying a house with 1 million Kenyan shillings, and let's say you put that money into good investments, maybe buying a good business or starting good business, for instance, selling gases. Selling gases. I hope is it gases or LPG gas as such? So I'm not sure. If you are going to say starting a gas business, that's still feeding gas businesses, gas business, not gas businesses. If you are going to feed a gas business, then 1 million is a lot of money to start a gas business. Is a lot of money. So you are going to buy cylinders, and these cylinders you are going to buy maybe some motorbikes which would assist you to move these cylinders to your customers, back and from your customers. I believe for 1 million Kenyan shillings, you would earn good amount of money. If you are really deep into that business, I believe you can make not less than 100,000 Kenyan shillings if you are into that business and you put that business in a good strategic place. So if you put that money on a good business, it will continue generating you some revenue instead of you going and burning your money, your precise money, money which you have worked hard on a house. A house is not something which is going to be so precious for a longer period of time, because all we know, the truth of the matter is houses get updated, not updated, but outdated each and every time. For instance, I was in Kericho. I did some construction, not construction. Let me be realistic, not construction. I did some mchengo in Kericho County, in those estates. So I did some mjengo there. So something which I saw is this: there were those structures or houses which were constructed during the colonial era, those which used to have sharp pointed roofs. The roofs were so sharp pointed. So I thought this can be a good modern house. But we consider those kind of structures, they were neglected between the colonial times, and in between here, we had some other plans which came and got rid of those colonial plans. So that's why I say that you may think that the house you're going to construct now is going to be a decent house which you would always stay there forever. But that's not the truth. It's a lie. So instead of you going and borrowing your money on a house, and which will get even outdated within a short period of time, fade and give you problems in terms of repairing, in terms of doing what and what, then you should not give a house a priority. Another issue why I encourage individuals not to buy a house as a number one priority is the whole issue, the problems which are associated with that house of yours. For instance, the sinks may end up blocking. You need a plumber to come and do repair. You may end up your kids breaking those windows, even though they're renting the house which you have rented. You may you will be required also to replace those windows. But I believe your property will tend to be more careless. The property which you've constructed, even if it's your car, most individuals have a high priority of being so careless when it comes to their own property. So there are a lot of problems which are associated with you constructing a house. For instance, some individuals may argue, why are you talking? Maybe I should go at home and construct a mud house. A mud house, it doesn't require to be maybe painted and again. A mud house, once you have constructed, you only need to smear, maybe. But I'm not talking about mud houses, I'm talking about decent houses. So those decent houses which I'm talking about, you require a plumber. If it has the sinks, toilets are broken down, it's your problem to do those preparation, to not preparation, but to do those repairs. At the same time, if paints the paint has faded, it's your responsibility, not the landlord's responsibility, because you have taken that responsibility of a landlord. And if the roof starts leaking, it's your responsibility to start repairing that roof, because it's your house, it's your rental property. You are residing on a single family home, so it's your responsibility for you as an individual to do that repair. And also, the another problem is, if you have your home, most of the problems which are associated with those homes is your own responsibility. So that's why I say, if you are giving a house a priority and you are not ready to face these challenges, don't then construct a house. It should not be your priority. So another reason why I say you should not buy a home, you should not buy a home, is if you want to get rid of that house, it will be a hell of a, how should that term be pronounced? Is it hell of a task? I hope you are getting me. So it's not so easy for you as an individual to get rid of your house. Get get it that very clear. If you own a home and maybe you have resided, let's say, in Eldoret town for 5 years, and you constructed your house, you put your land there, and you constructed that house. So life happens. You have decided to move out of Eldoret town. Number one, the challenge which you are facing is, remember, you have built yourself there permanently. You are not supposed to move, because that's where you constructed your home. Since you would not lend that property to an individual on a free term, you need to get rid of that house and land. So the problem is getting rid of this land. Is it easy? Absolutely not. And if it's not a rental property, then getting rid of that house is another problem. So you would face a lot of problem or a lot of challenges once you want to get rid of that house. And you may end up even selling that house at a price which is so low if you compare with that person who maybe used the same amount to start a business or did some investments. So that's another challenge. A challenge of you as an individual getting rid of the house which you have bought, getting rid of that property which you have bought. But if it's a rental property, and maybe you as an individual, you are at that rental property as a tenant, then you could be in a good position to get rid of that house, because individuals are interested in the property which brings in some cash flow. So if your property brings in some cash flow, then you are in a good position to get rid of that house. But if it's a family home, single family home, then getting rid of that house is not one two issue. It's a hard time. It's a hell of a task to defeat. So that's another point. Another point why I encourage individuals not to actually buy, not buying, but why they should not give a house a priority. I'm not against you constructing the decent house, the mad house which you have always dreamt of, but I'm here just to argue that you as an individual, you don't need to give a house a priority. The number one thing which you should consider is investments instead of buying a house. So another reason why I'm saying that you should not buy a house, you should not give construction of a house a priority, is for those individuals. I believe I'm going to repeat myself, but this is what I'm trying to fix. So for those individuals who maybe consider constructing a lot of homes, and a part of this home they are going to rent as a single family home. Single family business is not something which is so amazing. Yeah, it's a good investment. There are some people who are making a lot of money on single family homes. So if that's your vision of constructing a single family home, first you start with yours and then you will rent it out and maybe start one by one and then establish uh, a huge unit of houses which you should use for renting. So, in short, I want to say that the whole idea of saying that I'm going to start with my house and then I will start contracting some units which I will give out, I will rent out. The challenge with single family homes is there is high chances that you on those tenants who you depend on may decide to move out. And if this house of yours or these units of yours going up or end up missing tenants, then you could be on a bad side, because the whole issue of constructing a home or constructing houses which are going to rent is to ensure that you have constant cash flow. And if your tenants are going to move out of those houses and ceremoniously, even you are unprepared, then if you are in that position of having huge loans, I assure you, you will end up collapsing. Ask Donald Trump. Donald Trump in the late 90s, he fought against going bankrupt. He always fight against bankrupts. So if you don't want to incur the same challenges which Donald Trump incurred, then you starting on a stage of constructing single family homes in order for you to acquire some real estate portfolio, some mass of wealth in terms of real estate, then single family homes should not be your number one priority. For instance, in Kenya, even where I'm living in at this place is kind of a cubicle. I was even negotiating with my friend and we were just talking. Maybe we saw in the US is a developed country, but those homes in the US, those cubicles, not really cubicles, but they were kind of decent houses. They have even some sitting room for one individual. There are also some bedroom for you as an individual. I hope there is also a shower. It's not we here at this place where I'm living. We have like a public shower, so we use a public shower. So it's not a similar case in those developed countries. You have kind of a home and you have a small place where you need to make your sitting room. You also have some small place where you can also construct, not construct, but establish your bedroom. So it's a different place compared to where we are living. So I was giving you an example. For instance, where I live, we have like 20 rooms, and these 20 rooms are occupied by none of those rooms is empty. So if we pay a rent, let's say 4,000 each individual, and we have 20 rooms occupied minus maybe two rooms. So we have like 18 rooms times 4,000, that's like equivalent to 72,000. Give some deductions. The owner has like 60,000 in terms of profit, 60,000. And this amount is so nice because these are cubicles and they are occupied. So there is constant cash flow. Money is flowing, money is moving, money is constantly flowing. So that's always this. My favorite real estate investor is known as Grant Cardone. It says that cash flow is king. Cash flow is king. So if you as an individual, you have always thought anything related to real estate, ensure that whenever you think of buying real estate, the number one priority for you as an individual should always be cash flow. If that real estate is not going to give you cash flow, then you are out of business. It's the same scenario if you are going to start a single family home. If your tenant decides to move out, then you are challenged. You are in a disadvantaged position because number one, you don't have cash flow. And cash flow, as we have said, cash flow is king. And if you don't have cash flow, and if you acquired a loan to construct this house, which is a common thing, especially in Kenya, not even Kenya, is a constant thing for those individuals who are employed. You can go and acquire a loan and decide to go and construct a house. So if you have decided to construct a house, then there's a challenge which you are going to face. Your tenant has moved out. You need to service that loan, and there's no money coming in. That house will be taken away from you. So for those individuals who are considering of starting of buying a house, then you should always think twice before starting or constructing your own house. I believe I've come to my conclusion on what I wanted to share with you. And for those individuals who took their time and decided to come and share with me on why you should not buy a house, I appreciate you so much for coming along. And if you have an opinion considering should you buy a house or you should rent and do some investments, I would like you to comment below. What are your thoughts? Should you first go and buy a house, and the high chances are the high chances are you are going to take a loan to acquire that house. So I would like your comment below. What are your opinions? Should you buy a house, or you should rent first and make some investment, and from these investments, the revenue which is going to be generated, if it becomes so huge that you are in that position to get rid of it, then you should consider constructing a house. My name has been Musema Augustine, and if you find this video entertaining at the same time educating, then you should give it a thumbs up. At the same time, if you have not subscribed and you consider maybe there are high chances that we are going to learn one or two things from this channel, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Some individuals, I somehow think once and again I pronounce hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell. So I'm saying not hit, but hit that notification bell so that when I upload or I come live, you're in that position to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I would like you to join me on the next live stream because I do use StreamYard, so I can allow some individuals to join me. So thanks for watching. See you in my next video.